Okay. So, I guess we could, I don't know, Heather. Well, no, we can wait. We don't have to wait. We can just start. Heather, do you want to start with disclaimer or do you want to?
So basically, this is 104.5 FM, Urbana Champaign. This is Conscious Community Connections, where we keep the community connected. So you can go ahead and start. We got Alicia and Faith, and we're going to start off with our show today. We got some spotlighting going on, so we're going to do an interview today, you guys.
Yeah, so we're going to interview Faith Shelby White here. She is a financial consultant in Champaign County, and she started her business recently. She really has a passion for helping the Black community and assisting with financial education. So, Faith, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, where you originally from, what got you started in financial consultant,
Okay.
being a financial consultant.
Right. Well, I've actually lived in Champaign for 39 years, a long time. So I really consider Champaign County my home. I honestly do. But I was born in St. Louis, Missouri, and I lived in a small town near East St. Louis called Brooklyn, Illinois. And it's all, some people also know it as Lovejoy, Illinois.
Okay.
And I lived there up until I was 11 years old. And then, of course, my parents and I relocated to this area.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So you've been pretty much raised here.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah. So you kind
yes,
of know a lot of people, and you've been around and you've kind of seen probably some things that people have been struggling with. I've heard people talk about maybe their finances and some of the things that they've been struggling with, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, well, definitely.
So, so financial consulting isn't like your primary thing. You just kind of got into it. So, what do you do originally? What's your original career path, and how did you segue into financial consulting?
Okay. Well, I'm currently working at Champaign Unifor Schools as a hearing and vision screening technician. I've been there since 2005. And yes, I've been doing that for a long time, identifying children with vision issues, children with hearing issues. So I'm sort of their first line person to detect that there could be a problem. And from there, I refer them to a specialist, such as the eye doctor for the eyes, of course, and for their hearing, their regular doctor or an audiologist.
Okay. Okay. So you're really helpful. You're definitely needed in the school district. There's a lot of kids that have issues with hearing and vision, and that can definitely affect their ability to learn. So you're definitely needed. So, but how did you start with financial consultant, being a financial consultant?
Okay. A good friend of mine, and I'm going to shout out to Mrs. Francina Wright, presented this opportunity for me to enroll in financial education services, with one of the many being the credit restoration early this year. So just so happened, I was in need of getting my credit score improved, and the service worked so well for me that I decided to become a part of the franchise to have my own business.
Wow. So you really just experienced the benefits from that and thought that this was such a great service that you wanted.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, most
Okay.
definitely.
So, let's talk about then how that is connected to your passion with helping the Black community.
Well, it's connected a lot. There's a saying that goes, "When we know better, then we ought to do better." And the information I've learned and that I'm still learning have to be shared to help somebody else. That's how I feel. And so, and my interest came about honestly because it's needed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so easy to bury our heads in the sand about our personal credit situation. We use high interest credit cards to pay for things to keep up the appearance that we really can't afford. Let's say what we're wearing or what we have in our homes. When in actuality, we really can't. A lot of us are using credit cards, maxing them out, having late fees, and so forth. And also, there's a huge wealth gap between blacks and whites. Economic advisors under the Obama administration, they found that black families in the U.S. have 90% less wealth than white families.
Mm-hmm.
And credit scores also end up making the wealth gap worse. It makes it worse. And what a lot of people don't realize is that the credit scores are closely tied to someone's ability to grow wealth and succeed financially. So scores determine the eligibility, let's say for loans, apartment rentals, and even some jobs will look at your credit score. And more than 50% of white households had a FICO score of 700 compared with only 21% of the black households.
Mm.
And also, a high credit score can lower your interest payments on student loans and mortgages, which means it can help you save thousands of dollars.
Right.
So, for all these reasons, is the reason why I would like to share with the Black community and educate them more
Right.
on how we can share in this wealth, how we can become wealthy without having to pay a lot of additional money in interest.
Right. You're right about that. I appreciate you sharing all that knowledge and breaking it down about the wealth gap and the necessity it is to, obtain this information about finances and how to be, I guess you could say, financially healthy in a sense,
Yes,
and you're right about that too. A lot of people get stuck in this keeping up with the Joneses type of mentality where we have to, or they think that you have to, in order to look like, or to seem like you are financially stable, then you have to appear like you make a certain amount of money, which then causes you to buy things that you don't have any money, you don't really have the money to purchase it, so then you're buying it on credit and then you can't pay it back, and then that just is a lot of that happens a lot. But it does go deeper than that. There are, and I will acknowledge this, that there are people that have, maybe they were raised in a background or in a family that didn't have a lot of things. So then
yes,
when they wanted to make sure that they had a lot of things when they got older.
hmm,
And that's so hard to tackle because I think because you then have to create a paradigm shift and teaching yourself that, you know, being financially secure and financially stable doesn't necessarily have to do with tangible things like, like clothes and cars and jewelry, but with like you were saying about building wealth and what
yes,
wealth actually is, which is like, good credit, possibly buying real estate,
right,
having cash in the bank and not
hmm,
just like, things on credit cards. So yeah, you thank you for explaining all of that. Can you talk a little bit more about how you see the emotional effects of poor credit? Like, have you seen that played out in your life, your personal life,
yes,
with your friends, yourself, or like just in people in Champaign County? Like, have you seen emotional effects of poor credit play out in people's
yes.
lives?
It just causes you to feel fearful. It causes embarrassment when you go to a store and you try to apply, let's say for a credit card, and you're denied,
Mm,
and it causes you to feel overwhelmed at times. Those are the negative effects of credit versus the
yeah.
positive effects. Of course, you're excited and you
Mm-hmm.
feel good. Yeah, I can get this house. I can get this car at a good interest rate, and you're just really happy about it. And you can
Mm-hmm.
walk into pretty much any place and get what you want because you know that your credit score is high enough to get it.
Right. Yeah. I'll tell you what, there's been a couple instances in my life where I have had like horrible credit. And,
Mhm.
especially when I was younger, when I lacked the self control, right?
Yes. Hmm.
you know,
And
and it did kind of put a lot of fear and anxiety in my life. I had my daughter when I was pretty young, and so to um, have to be a single mom, worrying about all that debt and credit and how that affects actually your daily life, it can cause a lot of fear and anxiety. I mean,
yeah,
I was able to dig myself out of it, but I completely understand where you're coming from, or I understand that completely being there. And it is embarrassing because it makes you look like you're incompetent, or it makes you look like, you're irresponsible. You don't know what you don't know. You always have to ask people for money, ask people for help. Like, yeah, it is embarrassing. But then, I struggle with this problem when I got out of debt and I raised my credit score and I started saving money, then I started slipping back. Oh, I'm good now. And I started slipping back in my old ways.
yes.
Like, hold on, hold
It's,
on. And I
you
had
have
to
work
remind,
to do.
yeah. So it's like having to strengthen that muscle of self control and realize, what's priority here, And but I do think like maturity has to do a lot with that too, So I think when people can mature a little bit through that process and realize what's more important, and ain't nobody trying to ain't nobody trying to be broke anymore. So then you just don't spend so much money.
Hmm.
So yeah.
So I have a question. So I know when it comes to financial literacy and credit, um, we in our community, I should say, we kind of lack the knowledge and the terms. It's kind of difficult to understand what an APR is, or that fine print
Mhm.
that no one ever like reads. It's just sign here and sign here, and oh, I got a credit card. How is it in how important was it for you personally, because I'm gonna ask personal questions, how important was it for you to finally get that freedom that you wanted, that it was like I know, like a weight lifted off your shoulder when you did finally get, the improvement that
Oh
you wanted
yes, it
in your credit
it
score?
felt really good. It felt really good, and as you mentioned about the little fine print, the APR, not really knowing initially what those numbers are and how much interest that you have to pay and so forth. So yes, it felt really good. Yes.
Good. So you definitely have a personal testament to what it's like to, be in a situation where you are don't know what to do with all this debt, and then to dig yourself out of it and to feel like there's like hope, like
That's right. Hmm.
little, yeah, don't feel you feel a little bit lighter, a few less things to worry about.
Right. And I would like to definitely drive that point home to our young people, to teach our young people so they don't have to go through what I went through, and so they can know not to get into that cycle of debt, and especially with credit cards, which was my issue mainly, was the credit cards.
So I
Yeah.
do want to talk about your business because I do want you to address it and to put out your website for people that can come and talk to you about their issues, and feel open. You seem like you're somebody that's very compassionate, understanding. So I'm guessing that if they were to share some of their issues or personal problems with money, you'd be able to keep that confidential and
Oh yes,
have
yes,
compassion. So
yes.
before we talk about your business, I do want to talk a little bit about what you just said about credit cards, about how credit cards themselves, they are a slippery slope, especially if people don't know what the APR is. And um, what what it actually means to have 9% interest on your credit card or whatever
Yeah,
50% interest on your credit, stuff like that. What that means, um, and say they use credit cards and oh I'll pay it off later.
right.
I paid off later, and then they don't ever pay it off, and then it goes on the credit report, and that's a whole nother beast
Hmm.
you have to
Hmm.
deal with. And
Yeah.
so, can you kind of talk about like that process of when things go on the credit report, and then what a person has to go through to get that off the credit report, like the
Okay.
removal of things?
Well, I think first initially, I think it's important to know what our credit report, what it consists of, um, the calculation of various things. And the first thing is payment history. And prior to 2009, 35% of our credit score was based on payment history. So basically, how well you paid your bills, if they were paid on time versus if they were paid late. But now, one slip won't hurt as much. But if you have a history of paying on time across most of your accounts, and you may have one occasion slip up and pay late, this won't affect your score as much as it used to. But of
Okay.
course, but of course, it is still to have good payment history over all of your accounts.
Okay. And so that's when you're talking about good payment history that would help you build good credit. Um,
Yeah.
Initially, if you're going to if you're trying to build credit, say you're someone that's like, just turned 20 and you want to open up a credit card account,
Mm,
one of the
yes.
things to do is to pay your bill on time so that you can build positive, good credit. But also, you're saying if you're someone who's trying to dig yourself out of debt, paying on time will one help you pay off the debt, or also eliminate late fees,
Yes.
also prove that you are someone who can pay your bill on time. So
Right.
establishing
Right.
good credit. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And so that constitute about 35%. And then the next is the amount borrowed compared to your available credit.
Mm-hmm.
And this is now like a bigger factor in your credit score. So basically, your overall debt plays a big role in your credit score. So, and that's about 30% of your score, is the amount of revolving debt you owe, again, in relation to your available balances.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So when we're talking about again younger adults who are getting ready to graduate and start college, where they're starting to take out student loans,
Yes.
and they're going to be like me, where their loans are more than what they make a year. So um, so that's going to happen. So then that means you really want to make sure that you don't have debt, credit card debt, or debt anywhere else if you're going to have like those student loans for a while,
Yes.
because
Yes.
that's really gonna that affects your credit score, and then your ability to like purchase a car or buy a house or do anything else, right?
Mhm. Yes, most definitely. Yeah. And
So
another thing I wanted to say about that is that it's good. A lot of people may think that, well, if I pay off all my cars, then I'm doing good. But actually, that can lower your credit score because you're wiping your credit history out. That was something that I didn't know initially, because it's totally wiping it out. So it's best to have a little something on that credit card. If it's nothing but $3, keep a little something on that card, and you may not even use it that often. But every now and then you may want to use it, because if you don't use it, the creditors may go ahead and close your account, and you don't want your account closed, because it can reflect negatively on your credit score as well. So that's another
yeah,
thing about credit cards that a lot of people don't know, to keep a little,
right.
keep a small balance on there, but just make sure that you pay, that you keep it down to at least 33%. Try to keep it down as much as you can. You don't want to max them out, and you don't want to go over the limit as well.
That's a really good point. I'm glad you brought that up because that is something that people forget. Once the credit cards are paid off, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't use them. A lot of people keep their credit cards for like a rainy day, but if that's all that they use it for, and that rainy day doesn't come for like 3, 4 years, and you have a credit card that's like just not active,
Hmm.
not going to look good on that will reflect poorly on your credit report.
Yes, yes. And so this brings me to the third one, which is your length of credit history. And so you raise your credit score by keeping your accounts open at least for 7 years. So again, what I was saying, paying them all off will more likely lower your score. So you want to have a good length of credit history as well,
Mm-hmm.
and that accounts for about 15% of your score.
So that also means that if you open up a credit card, make sure that you're opening it up with the intention to have it open for a while.
Yes.
Don't just go and open up you know, a Macy's card and have it open for like, a couple of years or maybe 6 months just so that you can, get some stuff for Christmas and then close it, because then that's gonna hurt your score too. So you're right. So if a person was going to get a credit card, what would be the best type of credit card to get? Would it be like a store credit card, like an Old Navy card, or would it be more like a Visa or Mastercard or something like Discover card? Like what type of card would be best? I've heard the cards that you get like from the stores like actually have a higher interest.
Yes, yes. I was going to mention that, but definitely I feel like the major credit cards, um, like the Visa, Mastercard. I think something like that would be better to get than the store credit card. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, we know that the stores, they lure us in by saying, well, if you apply for a credit card, you'll get a percentage off of what you're going to purchase. And so that brings us into the trap of applying for store credit cards. And of
Right.
course, those are higher interest credit cards in most cases.
Right. You're right. And they have that trap of like that 10% off, which, I mean, 10% really isn't that much. It's like,
Right, right.
it's not the tax, but the interest, the amount of interest that's on that credit card is way more than that
Hmm.
10% off.
Yes, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Way more.
And then, of course, they run your credit right there in the store, and determine whether or not you can get it, and you
That's,
don't
and that's,
necessarily have to have a great credit score to get it. Um, and but again, they'll lure you in with the higher interest rate.
and that's embarrassing too, because like you said, if you don't have the credit to get the card, and then that's like right in front of everybody, or even just running your credit anyway, like that lowers your credit score every single time somebody does a credit check on you, correct?
Yes, well, and actually, that gets me to my next point.
Okay.
Yeah, number four is the inquiries and new debt, and yes, these can lower your credit score, but it only accounts for about 10% of your score. But the good news is that, like, if you're shopping for a house, all mortgage inquiries within 30 days of each other will be grouped as one inquiry. So let's say if
Mm,
you're going to different places, trying to get a mortgage, that's not going to hurt you as much because they'll all be grouped in as long as they're within those 30 days.
okay.
Now for a car, it is a 14-day limit. So in 2009, inquiries for new debt would have less of an effect. Would have less an effect than they used to. So
Okay.
with the autos, it's within a 14-day period.
Okay.
So again, if you're going to this car dealership and go to another one, As long as it's within that 14-day period, you should be okay. It shouldn't hit your credit too hard.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Good to know. That's good to know because I'm gonna have to buy a car soon. That's good to know. Thank
Okay.
you.
Mhm.
Thank you
And
very
then
much.
I do have one more. The type of debt um, also accounts for 10% of your score.
Mm-hmm.
So installment debt is more favorable to your credit score than, let's say, credit card debt.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, if you have a loan, that's more favorable than having a credit card debt,
And
and
can you
that accounts
explain
for
that?
10%.
And can you explain why?
Okay. Well, basically, the installment debt, let's say, such as an auto loan, it said, it's, of course, as I said, it's looked up on more favorably, and now you can get points for you to successfully manage like multiple types of debt.
Mm-hmm.
You can get points for that, such as a mortgage. Let's say you have a mortgage, auto loan, and credit cards, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And so you'll get points for being able to manage all of those, even though we know that the installment debt is looked at more favorable than some of the credit card debt. And I believe with the credit card debt, it's because of the high interest rate that can result from the credit card debt.
Okay.
So I believe that that's a major reason. And with installment loans, like you said, you're trying to get something like a house, like a car, and so forth.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. So let's talk about your business. Unless Heather, do you have something to say? I thought.
Yeah, I'm gonna read the disclaimer or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So this is Conscious Community Connections, where we keep the community connected. This is 104.5 FM, Urbana Champaign. Views expressed are those of the speakers and are not intended to represent WRFU, UCIMC, or Urbana Socialist Forum. And hey, we are here live right now with Faith and Alicia, and we are speaking about financial literacy as well as credit score. We're just talking about Faith's uh, brand new. It's a brand new company, right?
The company itself is not new.
Okay.
Um, they've been around since 2004,
Okay.
and the base is Farmington Hills, Michigan. So the company itself is not new, but of course, this is a new arena for me, in which I was able to invest in the franchise and have my own business. Yes.
Okay. So let's go ahead and talk about your business and be more specific about it, like the
Okay.
services that you offer.
Okay. Well, I've sort of self-branded it. Financial Health Matters too is what I call it, because again, financial health matters. But I am a field trainer with the services are provided through United Credit Education Services. And
Okay.
we have a comprehensive plan. It's called our UCES Protection Plan. And it incorporates about 12 different services. But our main focus is credit restoration. And our credit restoration services can assist you in challenging the credit bureaus to remove inaccurate, obsolete, erroneous items from your credit report, and restore your credit score and maximize your financial opportunities. So that's our credit restoration. We also have, for those that may not have a lot of credit, we also have Credit Builder.
Okay.
And with the Credit Builder tool, you can access your credit report in an easy to understand online format and utilize our extensive. We also have a financial library as well, a resource center to
Mm-hmm.
assist you in increasing your financial potential. So that's our Credit Builder that we have. We also have credit monitoring, which is it's called Smart Credit. That's what it's called, and it's an interactive credit report. Again, it's online. Money manager, and it's a financial account alert system. And all of your online accounts are in one and an organized place. And credit monitoring alerts will be sent to your phone if there's anything that changes. Even if you get a boost in your credit score, it will alert you to that fact. So that's the credit monitoring. Um, we also have credit with the service comes credit attorneys as well.
Okay.
And our credit attorneys will evaluate your case for difficult to remove inaccurate items on your credit report. Let's say like a bankruptcy. They can definitely help with that, getting that removed from your report, especially if it's an old bankruptcy and it's not
Okay.
current. But if legitimate, they will sue the agency to clean up your report. In which case, you may be entitled to compensation.
Mm.
Yes, and so those that is what we have from our credit end. We also have our budgeting help, which will you can track your income and spending by creating a personalized budget and using your budget report to follow your progress each month, and also make the necessary changes that you need to.
Okay.
So that's our budgeting help.
So with your budgeting, do you guys like provide like spreadsheets, or is there like an
Y-
app that
Yes,
that
everything is online, and it would definitely help you to organize that and basically give you more money to enjoy. You know, you may not realize that you can really have extra money. It just depends on how you budget it and how
right,
you're utilizing it. But it will definitely show you that in on in interactive spreadsheet.
right, because then that could help you. sh- You can see where every penny is going to,
Yes.
what to cut back on.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And we
So
also have a debt payoff as well,
okay.
where you can create a financial plan that would give you you'd like your exact payment a payment guide to eliminate your debt
Mm-hmm.
quicker than what you expected, and it'll save you from like unnecessary interest payments as well with our debt
Okay.
payoff tool.
Okay. So when you're doing that, is there like anybody there, like a mentor or somebody that can like work with you, or are you kind of just is it, or is it really planned out and step by step to where you can?
Oh yes, there are instructions with which each one of our services. There's a video, there's a Q&A with questions that I'm pretty sure other customers had that will give you answers to your questions. We also have our customer service that you can call daily and ask them questions. You know, if you're having problems. I also help with my customers as well. I'll help them through the process if they're having issues and see what I can do. And if it's something that I can't do, of course, I tell them, call customer service about this because they're the experts, and I'm sure they've heard it all.
Okay, so you're really there with the person, kind of walking them through on their own level how how they can transition themselves into more of a healthier financial living in their life. You're really going to be there with them while they
Oh
go.
yes, oh yes. I'm not just going to enroll you and then just leave you out there. Um, because it's really, like I said, it's really about helping others and about educating. So I'm here every step of the way if they need me.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so if someone were, trying to get in touch with you and talk to you about all this, how would they be able to contact you?
Okay. Well, they can contact me at area code 216-260-8255. 4816. They can call me,
Hold on.
text me.
I'm gonna write that in the on the chat. What's the number again?
Okay, area code 216-260-4816.
Okay.
And they also can look at my website, and it's financial health matters 2 dot rwebfx.com.
Okay. Well, I just put up your because I get your old website. That's okay.
Okay, that's okay.
That's okay. I'll put it up later.
Okay, okay.
That's okay.
But yes, they can definitely call me.
Okay. They can
Uh-huh.
call you with that, and I will post the website later so that everybody can at least.
I can repeat it if you want me to, and I can go slower.
I'll put it. I promise. I'll put it in the comments after.
All right.
I'll put it there. I don't want to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I also have another website that they can access as well. So
Okay. Yep. Let's. Okay. You can say it. You want to share your website? You can share it now, and then, like I said later, I can go back and I'll just type it in. But you can go ahead and share that website too right now. If
okay, okay. It's UCS protection plan.com backslash capital F capital S lowercase HELBY. Then there's a capital W lowercase HITE. So that's another website that they can access as well.
Okay. And then that's kind of like the financial firm's overall website, and they can get on
Yes,
and kind of
yes.
see
The
all the
first
services
one
that.
I gave you will take you to Financial Health Matters. They can click the enroll button, and then it'll go into my main website as well.
Okay,
And they can look
good.
at all of our services.
Okay, that's good. So when you're doing the consulting, are you meeting with them in person? Are you just meeting them over the phone? I mean, right now with COVID, we got to be, of course,
Over,
concerned about
over the
that.
phone, most definitely.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you're
And
not
I basically just get an idea of what negative items are on their report, what needs to be removed, and then I explain how our services can help them.
okay. And you're not just kind of, well, you're here based here in Champaign, but you
Yes.
would expand out to other counties too.
Oh yes, yes.
Okay.
It's a national program, and
Okay.
I can service anybody all over the United States, Guam, and Puerto Rico as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Well, good. I mean, I hope this gives you some exposure, and definitely I hope somebody that's listening to it would want to contact you about it. Especially um, the younger generation, young adults, if they're just starting out in college and they need a little more advice on how to get and we'll start out with more like be more financial savvy, and so that they don't have to, learn the hard way like I did. So,
Mhm.
and like so many other people, you could
Yes.
just where they can learn that right off. So that's great. Um, is there any other things you want to talk about as far as the
I got some
importance?
questions.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I always got some questions. I be asking people questions. Don't mind me. It feel like I'm just an interrogator now. I swear. Um, so how important is it for people to like look at their credit and monitor their credit and like try to clean it up? Like, is it very important even if you're 50, 49,
Yeah.
45, 17? Can you let us know like how important it is again? Because some people kind of,
Mhm.
they come in kind of late on the show.
Right. Right.
Can you let us know again how important that is and stuff?
Yeah, yes, it's very very important. No matter how old you are, to keep track of your credit report. And there's it's really not an excuse not to keep track of it. You can get they have free credit reports now. You can get credit reports. Our service in particular has the credit monitoring system in it. So most definitely it's important, so that you'll know what's on there and that you won't get any surprises. I've talked to clients that were close to closing on a house, and lo and behold, something popped up on their credit
Mm,
report that they didn't know was there, and they knew that, oh well, I co-signed for this person so many years ago, but didn't know that it was going to pop up
mm,
on
mm, mm.
their credit report. And I have a client right now who didn't get the house for that particular reason at that time. So you don't want to get surprises like that. You want to know what's on your score, and what you can do to improve that score, and to get those and the negative items removed, if at all possible, which what our business will definitely help assist with.
So yeah, so what does one do when something like that happen? Are there ways to remove it, or are they just have to wait a few more years to establish that they can have good credit, or how do you
Yes,
do something
yes,
like that?
it really depends on the individual situation, on how long it would take to get that particular thing removed from their report. So I can't really say, oh, it will take, a couple of weeks. It may take some months to do that. And then of course they can try again once they get it cleared up.
Okay,
But you can imagine how heartbreaking that would be.
that is extra. Yeah, that would be
Yes.
hard. Think you're
Mhm.
moving on to a different level in life, and that to happen.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yes.
You already know I got another question. So, um, when you're cleaning up credit and stuff like that, how long will it take? Is it an overnight thing? Is this like gonna be some 3 months type of thing? Like what's the I guess the wait time, or because everyone wants this rapid credit. Like people want things to happen like so fast. Like,
Immediate gratification.
yeah,
Yeah.
can you like let us know, like, should we be patient or should we be like, oh, I want that off right now? That type of thing.
You should be patient, because it's a process, and everybody's situation is not the same. So it really depends on what's on your credit score, how much is on there, in the length of time that it may take for those items to be removed. And so I tell, and then another thing is, a lot of people don't realize that with the credit bureaus, once you send those dispute letters to them, they have anywhere from 30 to 45 days to get back to you, to let you know what the results of the investigation were. So it is a process. Some people want to say, well, no, it was your company took too long. No, when you go through the dispute process, it takes time. The credit bureaus have that amount of time to investigate your report.
And does that mean, like, if I got a 650 and I have something negative, you take that off, does that mean it's gonna hike right up?
It
Like I'm
could. It most. I've
655 or
seen, I've seen that situation happen, where it could have been a matter of a couple of items that needed to be removed, and then you receive the increase. And again, it's on the individual case. But because of course we also want to, the financial literacy part of it is to teach people how to build their credit score, not just through necessarily the removals. That's one step in the process, but there's also other things that we teach you in the financial literacy piece to increase your credit score.
Hmm.
Yes. Such as maybe having a positive line of credit instead of a negative line of credit. A card where you control the balance. You put a certain amount on that credit card or that card and not go over that amount. So that's one of the positive lines of a credit.
Yeah.
You got another question, Alicia? Because you know I can keep on going.
Go ahead, keep on going. I'm listening. I'm enjoying
Yes,
hearing
what I'm
everything.
doing, Faith, I'm stretching it. I'm sorry, but
That's good.
with financial literacy being kind of so short-handed, I should say. um a lot of people don't know and understand that it does take time for credit to be like increase, because you want to have that 750. Some
Yes.
people, need that 800, but it
Yes.
takes time for
Yes.
those things to happen. And it doesn't happen overnight. And like you said, you need that credit to be like 7 years to get a 800, that type of thing. So, I mean, it took me some time to get my credit together, but I kind of understand what it really means
That's
to get
good.
good credit and like have it and sustain it. It's hard and it takes practice. And I know a lot of our people in the community, they kind of have those parents where they put something in their name and
Mm,
kind of mess their credit up, but I believe that it's never too late to, try to adjust or get certain things off your credit to try to get that house that you wanted,
Yes.
get
mm-hmm.
that car that you really wanted, and so what I'm trying to get at is after 7 years, will everything be wiped away, or is like child support on there lingering, or does it affect certain student loans, and like how does that work with the 7 year like term?
Well, the 7 year term is basically that's when things are supposed to fall off. Whether or not whether you owe them or not. That's what the 7 year, like you said, the 7 year term is. But what some people are finding is that there's still things on their report
Hmm.
that are old, that are 7 years or more old, that should not be on their report. And that's where our credit specialists and our credit attorneys will come in to say, no, these items aren't supposed to be on this person's report because it's on your report and it's still affecting your score.
Mm.
And it should not be affecting it after the 7 years. But we also want people to realize that you should not necessarily think that you necessarily have to wait 7 years, because our credit specialists, our attorneys, they're going to try to get it off sooner than 7 years. I've had a number of deletions, off of my credit report, things that were old, and so we want people to still go through that process.
So when you're talking about these credit lawyers, if someone's part of your program, do they have to pay an extra fee for the lawyers to help them out, or how do?
No, that's the wonderful thing about it. There's not an extra fee for the credit attorneys, not at all. It's included within your service.
Okay, so then how would somebody get these services? What would they have to do to start the program?
Okay, well, again, they can contact me. I can quickly get them enrolled on my website.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the websites that I mentioned to you, they can go in and see all the services for themselves. There's even a 5 minute video overview of all the services. They can enroll directly from my website, but personally, I like the personal touch.
Mm-hmm.
So I would prefer them contact me. My contact information is on both of the websites that you'll post,
Mm-hmm.
and that's my preference is that they contact me. Even if they go ahead on and roll from my site again, I would like for I will get an alert that they signed up, and of course I would definitely give them a call.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you'll give them a call as soon as they sign up, like like a day
Yeah.
or so, and
Oh yes.
and get them
Mhm.
started. Make sure that they're started on it.
Right. Make sure they're started on it. Make sure they go in and they activate their services. And a lot of us, we're social media literate. We're computer literate, so it wouldn't be anything that's hard to do.
Okay,
Mhm.
that's good. So have you ever worked? I know you haven't had your business for that long, but have you worked with anybody that's been kind of resistant, like they sign up and then they be kind of resistant of the change and not know if they,
Yeah.
you might give them some advice
Yes.
and they're like, nah, nah, see, I can't do that.
Yes.
you know?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. People are something.
Right.
Yes. They acknowledge that they need to get their credit repaired, and but sometimes they don't want to go through the process. As Heather was mentioning, it could take a little while. um, I talked to a customer today to say, well, I'm really busy, and I don't have time to send the dispute letters off to the
Mm,
credit bureaus, even though our company provides you the dispute letters. They're gonna either mail them to you. You can have them mailed, or you can have them emailed to you through a PDF. And your only responsibility is to send those off to all the three credit bureaus. The whole
mm-hmm.
letter is written for you, so you sign it, you send them off. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but the particular person told me that they really didn't have time, and of course, I can understand because I know this person. I do understand their situation, but that's just one of the things that you can run into with some people.
And how do you deal with that type of resistance then?
Well, I told her that I would definitely get back with her. I'm going to find out more with our credit attorneys if they can just do that for her without her
Okay.
physically having to send off the dispute letters. But I told her that I would get back with her on that because I've never run across the situation where somebody tells me that they don't have the time to actually send their letters off and go through that process.
Right. I mean, that is a very interesting, uh, a situation, to encounter that type of reluctance and resistance to change, not um, to make sure that you don't have the time. It's almost like they're making sure that they don't have the time to do it to mail something off or coming up with excuses to why they don't have enough time for it. So that is really interesting. But then again, this it's a change, and that takes um, I guess courage, I guess, in a person want to change their own behavior and kind of.
Yes. And also, you mentioned about people, of course, some will say, well, I can't afford to do this right now.
Mm-hmm.
But yet and still they're getting other things done. They're getting their hair done, they're getting their nails done, and that's a lot of money. If you really take the time to write down how much you spend on your hair, how much you spend on your nails, how much you spend on your the eyelashes, you will see that the money that you could spend to get your credit repaired, you're choosing to spend it for outer appearance.
Right. I
And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Of course, I like to get my hair done. I like to get my nails done. I'm not saying that, but I think it also comes down to priorities.
right.
What is a priority for you? Getting your credit fixed so that you can get that house that you want. And 99% of the people I speak with, that's their number one goal. They say, I want a house.
Yeah.
They're tired of renting.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's just a change. When people are changing, or it's hard to do. That's hard to do.
Yes,
Especially like we have to look at our mistakes or our maladaptive behavior, and we have to admit it to ourselves that we aren't making the best decisions for ourselves, and that's hard to do. Kind of look at yourself in the mirror. That can be hard to do. So you know and there's probably a lot of avoidance and resistance there.
yes.
See that happening. Well, I can, and I like I said, I can say it from personal experience.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And then
definitely see
and
it
then
from.
also you have those people that you just choose to ignore it. You just ignore it. If I don't acknowledge it, then it's not there. You
And
have
it,
no
it and that's okay if you want to live life like that. That makes you happy. Then go ahead. That's okay. That's okay
it,
too.
until something comes up that again that you really want and you can't get, and,
Yeah.
and then it slaps you right in your face.
Yeah.
You can't ignore it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted this job, but your job ran your credit, and you didn't get the job because you didn't have a good enough credit score.
Right.
They didn't consider your experience.
Right. So then it comes down to then it would come down to this. Either you change so that you can get the job, or you stay where you're at the level that you're at for a really long time, possibly the rest of your life, because you're resistant to change.
Yes, yes.
I mean, I guess
Or
it's
you
just
go out and get or in the case of a car, you go out and get a co-signer, you know, and then the co-signer ends up responsible for what you didn't pay.
yeah, and it's actually financially smart for people to not co-sign. Like, don't co-sign
Yes,
for anybody.
yes.
Yeah.
Financially smart.
Mess you up.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So, yeah,
And of course, who are they going to go to when it doesn't get paid?
to the cosigner.
Going to go to you. Yes,
Yeah.
you go to the cosigner, and it's
Yep.
going to show up on your report
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
as unpaid.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And you can't say, as a cosigner, you can't say, I'm not paying that. That's not my debt. Yes, it is. You inherited it. That's what it means to be a cosigner. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Well, I know you guys. It's been an hour, Faith. You did
Oh
a
wow!
whole hour. Yes. Yes, I appreciate you guys so much. I'm just going to read the disclaimer. I'm not going to close it out or nothing. So, this is Conscious Community Connections, where we keep the community connected. This is 104.5 FM, Urbana Champaign. Views expressed are those of the speakers and are not intended to represent WRFU, UC, IMC, or Urbana Socialist Forum. So, I thank you guys again. I'm not going to close out or anything, but go ahead.
Yeah. So, Faith, or is there anything else you'd like to mention, you'd like to talk about, or?
No, I believe we've covered it all. And again, if anyone wants to contact me, please feel free to do so. Have any more questions? If I don't know the answer, I would direct you to the person that has the answer. And I appreciate this. I appreciate this opportunity. So I thank you guys very much.
Well, we're really happy to have you here on our show, because this was definitely an important topic that I know Conscious Community Connection is covered in the past, and I'm sure that we'll cover this topic in the future again. It's something I think that needs to be discussed more than once. So, yeah, we'd like to have you back on here, and maybe another time you can come back on here and talk about your role in Unit 4 school and how that's paramount in the community as well. So
Okay.
I do appreciate you taking your time and coming on the show and talking about everything. It was really nice to meet you.
All right. Nice meeting you guys as well.
All
Thank
right.
you
Thank you.
again, Steve. Thank you so much. And what's the name of your business again?
Okay. Financial Health Matters 2, the number 2, and it's through United Credit Education Services, UCES.
Okay. And if you can text me as soon as we're off of here, you can text me, and then I'll put it on the Facebook page so that everybody can jump
Okay.
so that everybody can access you that way.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. See you later.
See ya. Bye bye.
Bye.